Hello, my name is Rupal, like a ruby and an opal, and my Dharma name is OhnYu. Today I'd like to share my experience with the ideas of karma and rebirth. This topic often comes across as foreign and challenging for many people in the United States. Growing up in a Hindu household has offered me a different, more comforting perspective on these concepts. Master Sotaesan alludes to rebirth throughout the Red Book. In verse 43 of chapter 3, he describes how practice leads to awakening. Quote, "But there are by chance also some persons of the way who reach the ground of Buddhahood in a single jump. These are people of the most superior capacity who have practiced over many lifetimes and numerous kalpas." End quote. What is a kalpa? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a kalpa is a duration of time in Hinduism covering a complete cosmic cycle from origination to the destruction of a world system. Another source cites that one regular kalpa is around 16 million years. That is a long time to imagine. This means that the path to Buddhahood is vast and stretches across eons. Though it may appear that modern-day bodhisattvas like Thich Nhat Hanh or Master Sotaesan achieved enlightenment in a single lifetime, we only see the tip of the iceberg. Beyond what we can see or know of a single person's lifetime, nearly infinite thoughts, words, and actions over lifetimes have contributed to the manifestation of their life experience. In the next verse, Master Sotaesan explains, quote, "The water that fills the great ocean is the accumulation of small drops. The great soil of the mountains and fields is the accumulation of small dust motes. The achievement of the great fruition of all Buddhas and sages is the accumulation of merit in the formless and invisible mind." End quote. In this way, I think he means that greatness comes from smallness in a manner that we cannot measure or know. Teeny tiny merits build up over eons to achieve the rank of Buddhahood. A single lifetime is simply too short to offer enough opportunities to reach a grand awakening. Thinking this broadly might result in feeling down or hopeless. What's the point if this path unfolds at an unfathomably slow rate? Let's just pack up and go home. Yet, we are all here for a reason. What brought you here today? Meditating and studying Won Buddhism teachings help me understand my mind so I may reduce suffering within myself and those around me. I hope to make mindful choices and create grace from harm. I don't think we expect to become fully enlightened in this lifetime. Yet, we show up and put forth effort. What is the effect of our small merits? Do they, as Master Sotaesan suggests, accumulate over millions of years? Is there evidence that this is not the case? What concepts do we assign as default or not? When I was a junior in college, I studied abroad for a semester in Chile with a large, loving Catholic host family. They accepted me with open arms. I integrated myself into their family with ease. My host dad dropped me off at college, and I helped my host mom grocery shop and do the nightly dishes. They even took me on their family vacations. One day, my host mom approached me when we were alone. She said, "¿Sabes qué? Yo creo en la reencarnación." You know what? I believe in reincarnation. She explained in a quiet voice how she had concluded that reincarnation must be true, because there was no other explanation for why a baby could be born with a deadly condition. I nodded and listened patiently. She seemed relieved to share her thoughts in private with me. At the time, my 21-year-old self agreed nonchalantly. I understand now how hard it was for her, my 60-year-old host mother, a woman raised in a strict Catholic faith, who raised 6 children, had 10 grandchildren, to cultivate and nurture this belief. Since coming to this temple 10 years ago, I've met temple goers who find reincarnation dogmatic and mystical. Years ago, someone asked me, "What do you think of the mystical aspects of Won Buddhism?" I'm still scratching away at this question. I feel similarly about another question others ask me. Why don't you eat meat? These questions may reveal more about the questioner than the idea being questioned. In many parts of the world, not eating animals is the norm. Similarly, reincarnation represents a natural phenomenon for an estimated 1.7 billion Hindus and Buddhists worldwide. Okay, I've said it a few times, reincarnation. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The word reincarnation has gotten a bad rap. Progressive Buddhist leaders use more palatable words like rebirth, continuation, manifestation to gently tiptoe and reimagine reincarnation in a less mystical way to garner more followers in the West. So, whether we talk about being vegan or eating a plant-based diet, it's the same thing. Reincarnation is version 1.0 of rebirth. It's the notion that after death, there is birth, as natural as a sunrise follows the sunset. What thoughts and feelings arise when you think of reincarnation? I want to share my experience growing up in the Hindu faith. In the Indian tradition, parents are responsible for ensuring that their children grow up with a spiritual scaffolding for life. In this vein, I attended children's programs at our local Hindu temple starting around the age of 10 with my cousins. I remember flipping through the pages of my Bhagavad Gita and staring at the vivid pictures in wonder. One photo showed a picture of a baby turning into an adult who turned into an old man and then a baby. In the picture, a string of lights connected all the stages of life. The caption of this photo reads, "As the embodied soul continually passes, in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. Just as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones." This model explains clearly where we come from and where we go when we die. This model also matched what I saw around me. Babies were born, they grow up, they turn into adults, they age, they get sick, and then they die. Though I'm not certain humans always are reborn as humans, I do believe that this model aligns perfectly with the basic principles of physics and matter. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. What is the difference between a body that is alive and a body that is dead? It must be formless, eternal energy. It is the manifestation of no end, no beginning. It is reincarnation. My late father had strong faith in these beliefs. In his lifetime, he suffered many losses, including the deaths of his father, then his mother, his 34-year-old son, his younger brother, and a beloved cousin. Each loss filled my father with terrible heartache, and my father's faith gave him resolve to heal. I remember when his younger brother died of cancer. My father consoled my grieving aunt. He said, "Enough crying. Our spiritual teachings make it clear that this result was his karma. We should understand this." His statement gave me pause. What is karma? A verse from the booklet that we use for deliverance ceremonies offers a clear definition. In the deliverance chant, Dharma words for guiding the soul before or after death, it is stated, "Whatever you have received in this life, whether welcomed or unwelcomed, is the result of your past thoughts, words, and deeds. Whatever you receive in the future will be the outcome of your present thoughts, words, and deeds. This is heavenly karma. I find the first sentence comforting. 18 years ago, our family experienced an unwelcome event, the acute illness and death of my brother. He was my only sibling and the first of our family's lineage to be born in the United States. As time passed, the pain of his loss slowly subsided. After 11 years, I could look at his photo without sobbing. I believe that his life was a manifestation of his karma in a manner I cannot and will not fully understand. As my Chilean host mom alluded, accumulated karma from prior lives can explain his suffering. Though the details are far beyond what my mind can calculate, I have a tiny seed of faith in reincarnation and karma, and this allows me to accept what is. I know I did my best to alleviate my brother's suffering at the end of his life, and though at the time I wished for a million different outcomes, he died, and he paid his karmic debt. Now, nearly 18 years later, I do not resist his loss. And when I look closely, I see my brother everywhere, in sounds, smells, nature, in fellow beings, in me, my sons, my family. So what about the second part of this verse? What you receive in the future will be the outcome of your present thoughts, words, and deeds. This is heavenly karma. Is this possible? Does a thought have energy? There is the adage, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. To me, karma is cause and effect. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Even thoughts are actions. When I first took my Dharma name years ago, I accepted the first 10 precepts. I found that the hardest precept is no harsh words. To limit saying harsh words, I first have to recognize my harsh thoughts. These negative thoughts about myself and others have consequences, and if unchecked, can easily harm others. So what is heavenly karma? Heavenly can mean divine or existing in the cosmic realm beyond worldly recognition. My interpretation of heavenly karma is a cosmic level cause and effect, a realm in which every thought, word, and deed has a consequence that extends over time. When tied to reincarnation, I see the two elements of Ilwan's song so beautifully woven together. Cause and effect, heavenly karma, and no end, no beginning, reincarnation. I feel hopeful and grateful to be given a human life. What a joy to know that the seeds of my merits may sprout over lifetimes, and how humbling to understand that what has come to pass, both welcome and unwelcome, was set into motion eons ago. I am a speck in a giant cosmic swirl of formless, invisible, eternal cause and effect. And yet within me lies the potential to reach the ground of Buddhahood. Thank you.